Hello YouTube. When I first got this washing machine a couple of years ago, it started out as an A407. It had the original Pitman style transmission in it. When I rebuilt it, however, the transmission was really shot, so I installed an orbital transmission. Then I switched it over to a 2-speed model. The A407 was a 1-speed model. And then I switched it over to a 2-speed model, an A606. Painted the console, but the A606 was just a non-permanent press model. And also added that right there, the option for wash rinse temperature selections, which is not actually a part of A606, and maybe with permanent press, I'm not real sure. And then I also added the 4 water level selections as well. Well, I came across this timer to upgrade it to a permanent press model, and with the 4 wash rinse temperature selections, I think this might technically be styled as an A608. However, the A608 had a gold console rather than this light blue. So I'm not sure exactly what to call this. It's an A606, an A608. But I installed the timer yesterday, and so let's just sit back. We're going to run a load of permanent press, and if you'll allow me just a minute to load the camera on my tripod, we'll get started. We're going to wash this on a large load rather than extra large load. I've added 1 Tide Pod, a little bit of STPP, which, as many of you know, are phosphates, and of course, a little bit of Downy fabric softener. Let's just sit back and see how it does. you all are familiar with Maytag timers. From what I understand, Maytag used a couple of different sources, one from a company called Mallory and the other from a company called Kingston. This timer is a Mallory timer. One of the things I noticed about Mallory timers is that as they run through the cycle, there's noticeably more clicking that's going on, like that right there, than in an old Kingston timer, or at least the ones that I've had on this washing machine. I've seen a little debate out there on the internet regarding which timer brand is better, and I personally have no opinion. Happened to find this timer on eBay. I was rifling through a box of old timers and switches and various other items for Maytags a couple of weeks ago, and I noticed that I had a permanent press timer in my box along with that timer skirt that you all saw earlier in the video. And it was a Kingston style timer. I don't know where it came from. I don't remember getting it, but I tried installing it and it was DOA. And on top of that, those Kingston timers. This is an example of a Kingston timer right here. It's Bakelite or some kind of plastic. The mounting holes were stripped out, so I couldn't mount it to the console. This is what a Mallory timer looks like. It's more metal. You can see the mounting holes there are metal, and so I had no problem mounting it. But they're interchangeable. This is the original timer that came with this washing machine. It's an A407 timer. We're almost getting to the end of the wash portion of this permanent press cycle. We'll go into a 1 minute pause, and then it will begin to drain for 45 seconds. It won't drain the water completely out, and then after it's drained for 45 seconds, then the pressure switch will kill the drain process, and it will begin to fill back up with water. Then there will be a 1 minute pause, and it will drain for 15 seconds. And I think there's a partial refill, I can't remember, but it will agitate for 1 minute, and then pause for 1 minute, and then it will finally spin out in order to set up for the final rinse. So let's see if it does all that. I may have the sequence messed up, I'm not real sure. Alright, here's the 1 minute pause before it goes into a 45-second drain, and then it refills for the cool down. So the timer skirt that I have on there right now, I believe is for an A608. But this is the permanent press timer for the A606. They're identical, except the A608 is brushed aluminum, and this one of course is plastic, and then it has that aluminum skirt right there. And I think the other big difference between the A606 permanent press, by the time the A606 permanent press model came along, Maytag had added 4 water level selections or load selection levels, and the non-permanent press model came with only 3. But then with the A608, there was an additional upgrade on the A606. It only came with 3 temperature selections, but with the A608, that was upgraded to 4 temperature selections. So there's hot, warm, hot, cold, warm, cold, and cold, cold. But the timers are identical, and they're both large capacity tubs. Alright, so it'll spin for 15 seconds. Less than that. Then there will be a 1-minute pause. And then it should agitate for 1 minute. After this 1-minute pause. I believe the service manual says that before this agitation mode kicks in, it's supposed to fill back up, but for some reason it didn't. Now it's going to spin out for the final rinse. Alright, there goes the fabric softener being dispensed. By the way, because this was originally an early A407, the one thing that's missing is the bleach dispenser. And so I suppose the best way to style this this washer is to call it a Frankentag. I believe I've seen that term used out on the internet. So when this reaches the appropriate water level, it will agitate for 1 minute, pause for a minute, and spin out for 3 minutes. I know that by today's standards, 3 minutes doesn't seem very long for the final spin, but this cycle was originally designed for permanent press fabrics back in the 60s and 70s that were so popular, and the fabrics were much more lightweight. And plus, I don't think they wanted the final spin to last too long because I'm sure there was a concern for a long spin cycle causing wrinkles to set in. should spin for a couple more minutes and we'll call it good. All right, YouTube, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments down below.